You know that feeling when you are watching a professional golf tournament on a Sunday afternoon?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Best part of the weekend.
Right. And the cameras are just like practically obsessed with the club head.
They really
They
are.
give you these ultra slow motion, super zoomed in shots of that little piece of metal just smashing into the ball.
Yeah, where you see the grass fly up and everything.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You see the divot, you hear that perfect crisp sound. I mean, it's totally mesmerizing.
it is.
But it's also a lookout because we get so fixated on the club head that we completely ignore the actual engine making it go fast.
We miss the whole foundation of the movement, yeah.
Right. So, welcome to today's deep dive. Today we are stripping the golf swing down to its first 12 inches to find out why your hands might be, well, completely ruining your game.
Which is a tough pill to swallow for a lot of players.
It really is.
Yeah.
We are taking a highly detailed look into the biomechanics of the connected takeaway, basically deconstructing the most critical milliseconds of the entire motion.
And it really is the absolute foundation of everything. Like anyone who wants to stop fighting their golf swing and actually master it, they have to start right here.
Because it's the very first move.
Exactly. The truth we find across all the sports science data is that a reliable golf swing just absolutely must begin with a reliable takeaway. It sets the stage for every single physical event that follows.
So our mission for this deep dive is to unpack these incredibly detailed performance notes we have and figure out exactly what should be initiating your backswing.
Right, getting into the real anatomy of it.
Yeah, the anatomy, the most common flaws amateurs make and, the specific drills the pros use to fix them. So let's jump straight into the stakes.
Let's do it.
Why focus an entire deep dive on just the first foot or so of movement? I mean, it's such a small part of the swing.
Well, you have to think of it as a Dometer effect. The very first movement you make away from the golf ball dictates a massive chain reaction.
A chain reaction in the body.
Right. It influences the position of your hands, the movement of your arms, how the club itself is organized in space, and crucially, it sets the structural relationship between your upper body and lower body for the rest of the swing.
Okay, so I hear domino effect, and I understand that a bad start makes things harder, but I kind of have to push back a little here.
Okay, go ahead.
Is it really that impossible to recover from a disconnected takeaway? I mean, if you mess up the first foot, can't a really great athlete just use their incredible hand-eye coordination to, save the shot at the top of the swing?
Well, and you do see world-class players try to save it all the time.
Right, you see them tweaking things midair.
Yeah, you will watch them making these dramatic split-second adjustments mid-swing, but the biomechanical data clearly points out the massive cost of doing that.
Because it's just too fast.
Exactly. Relying on compensatory movements later in the backswing or, during the downswing, it makes the entire motion incredibly complex for your nervous system.
Oh, wow.
I mean, a full golf swing takes less than a second. Less than a second. So if your takeaway is messy, your brain is doing like emergency calculus in midair trying to reorganize a club that's moving at 100 miles an hour.
That is exactly what's happening. And when you force your brain and body to reorganize the club on the fly like that, your consistency just plummets.
Right. You can't repeat emergency calculus every time.
No, it makes the swing far less repeatable. If you want a reliable swing under pressure, you just cannot rely on mid-air compensations.
That makes total sense.
A connected takeaway gives you an organized beginning, meaning the structure is already sound. You don't have to desperately save the shot later because, well, you never put yourself in danger to begin with.
Okay, so if that emergency calculus is the result of a bad start, how do we actually build the right start?
Good question.
Because the sources make it very clear the takeaway should never be treated as an isolated hand or arm action.
Never.
Which feels super counterintuitive when you're standing over the ball, right? Because your hands are literally the only things physically holding the club. It's the ultimate illusion in golf. You feel the club in your hands, so you want to move it with your hands.
Right. But instead, the sources say it has to begin with the coordinated movement of the ribcage and the shoulders.
Yeah, and this brings us to the actual biomechanics of connection. The shoulder complex is the functional bridge between your core, so your ribcage and your arms.
Okay.
We are talking about the shoulder joints, the shoulder blades, the upper arms, and all the muscles controlling that movement. During the early takeaway, your shoulders and your ribcage should rotate together as one connected, unified structure.
Right. And the sources mention the specific kinematics of this sequence.
They do.
And real quick, for anyone listening who isn't a physics major, kinematics is just the study of how things move, right? Like the geometry of motion without worrying about the actual forces causing it.
That's a perfect way to explain it, yeah.
So how does this kinematic sequence actually unfold in the body?
Well, the sequence is highly specific, and it basically builds from the center outward.
Center outwards,
Oh.
okay.
First, it starts with ribcage rotation. The ribcage begins turning away from the target.
Got it.
Second, the shoulder complex responds to that turn. As the ribcage rotates, the shoulder blades glide and spiral across the ribcage, rather than, abruptly pulling away from it.
Right.
Third, you get arm movement, because the arms are anchored to this turning structure. And finally, as a result of the arms moving, you get club movement.
Okay, that makes me think of a mechanical analogy to try and visualize this.
Let's hear it.
It's like opening a massive, heavy bank vault door.
Okay, I like that.
You don't swing a heavy door by grabbing the handle and just yanking your arms away from the hinges.
You wouldn't get very far doing
Exactly.
that.
The actual mechanical work is being done at the hinges, which in our golf swing is the spine and the rib cage.
Yes.
And your hands just travels along the widest arc because it's attached to the door.
That is a brilliant way to visualize the physics. If you pull the handle without the hinges working, you are just going to hurt your back and the door won't move efficiently at all. Right. In the golf swing, the lead shoulder, so the left shoulder for a right-handed golfer, it moves inward and slightly downward, maintaining its connection to the chest.
Okay.
Meanwhile, the trail shoulder begins moving around the torso. It is a rotation of the entire mechanism, not a pull of the hands.
So if turning the heavy door from the hinges is the ideal, what actually happens out on the golf course when someone gets this wrong?
Things get messy very quickly.
Yeah, because if you are at the driving range right now, you have probably felt this. I know I am completely guilty of just snatching the club back with my hands.
Most amateurs are, honestly.
So what is the physical fallout of getting this sequence out of order?
Well, the most common flaw identified in the research is called early separation.
Early separation.
This occurs when the trail shoulder, the scapula, and the arm separate way too early from the rib cage.
Okay.
Instead of allowing that central hinge, the torso, to initiate the movement, the golfer immediately pulls their trail shoulder backward. They might excessively retract their right shoulder blade, or just literally push their hands aggressively away from their body to start the swing.
So they're just yanking the handle of the door.
Exactly. And doing that immediately severs the connection between the torso and the arms.
Which sound bad.
It is. The physical consequences of this are severe because the hands and arms have lost the structural support of the torso. Momentum and gravity just take over.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, the arms are surprisingly heavy, and when they aren't anchored to the turning mass of your chest, they swing outward, away from the body.
And when the hands drift outward like that, that's when you lose what coaches call hand depth. Right?
Precisely.
Meaning your hands aren't getting deep enough behind your heels.
Loss of hand depth is a huge primary symptom. When your hands move outward instead of inward with the torso turn, it alters almost every critical variable in the swing.
Like what?
Well, the club head is forced way too far outside the intended path. It messes with the shaft direction. It ruins your swing width.
Wow, just from that first move.
Yeah, and because the hands are acting independently, your club face might rotate unpredictably, opening or closing too much.
Right.
Ultimately, it forces the club into a terrible position at the top, making you approach the ball from the outside in during the downswing.
Which is the exact recipe for the classic dreaded slice that plagues pretty much all amateur golfers.
Exactly. Because your hands are no longer anchored to the turning mass of your chest, you are basically trying to hit a precision target with a loose cannon.
A loose cannon. That's a great way to put it.
The deeper issue here isn't just that the hands are in the wrong spot at the top of the swing. The root cause is that the hands are out there completely on their own. They are orphaned.
Orphaned hands.
Yeah. A connected takeaway gives the hands a stable, predictable path because they are being driven by the rotation of the larger muscles.
So the hands haven't just lost their position, they've lost their anchor.
Exactly.
So if early separation is the root cause of all these wild downswings and slices, how do coaches actually train a golfer to stop doing it?
It can be tricky.
Yeah, because golf instruction can be really overwhelming.
Yeah.
If a coach tells me, okay, rotate your rib cage, glide your scapula, and maintain perfect connection, I am going to completely freeze up over the ball and swing like a stiff robot.
Right, and that's where coaching imagery comes in. It's the bridge between biomechanical science and athletic performance.
Okay, what kind of imagery?
One of the classic, most effective images coaches use to solve this is asking the golfer to imagine holding a tennis ball right between their shoulder blades during the takeaway.
Wait, I have to pause you there.
Okay.
Because if I am trying to squeeze a tennis ball between my shoulder blades while I swing a golf club, isn't that going to create massive muscular tension?
It sounds like it would, right?
Yeah. I feel like I would be in a straitjacket with my arms glued to my ribs.
And this is a really critical distinction that the source material emphasizes. The goal is absolutely not to aggressively squeeze your shoulder blades together.
Okay, phew.
Yeah, that would create terrible tension and totally destroy your swing speed. The tennis ball imagery is purely about proprioceptive awareness and continuity.
Proprioceptive awareness. So for the listener, let's break that down.
Sure.
That basically means giving your brain a physical reference point so it knows exactly where your body parts are in space without you having to physically look at them.
That is the perfect definition. The imaginary ball gives your brain a reference point for the continuity between the two sides of your shoulder complex.
Got it.
As the takeaway begins, you imagine that your shoulder blades remain connected to the surface of your rib cage while the entire upper body turns.
Okay, so feeling the movement together.
Right. You were just trying to feel the shoulder blades moving with the rib cage and the arms remaining supported by the torso. Connected does not mean rigid.
So the golfers shouldn't squeeze their arms against their rib cage or restrict their shoulders. The arms are responsive, not locked.
Exactly. The movement absolutely must remain athletic and fluid. The arms are related to the body, but they are not trapped against it.
You know, this leads us to a really fascinating point in the research. There is this huge myth in amateur golf of permanent connection.
Oh, yes, a very common misconception.
The idea that your arms and chest need to stay completely welded together for the entire swing.
And following that myth is a recipe for a very short, very weak golf swing.
Really?
Yeah. The ribcage, shoulders, and arms should not remain locked together for the entire backswing. If they do, your swing becomes severely restricted.
So you have to separate eventually.
Yes. Natural separation must occur to create a functional backswing.
So if I'm not staying connected the whole time, when does the separation actually happen?
As the backswing continues past that initial takeaway phase, so past those first few feet, the trail shoulder actually needs to begin spiraling backward and downward.
Okay.
The trail scapula retracts more fully, the trail arm folds, and the arms begin to move independently relative to the rib cage.
Oh, wow.
This later separation is exactly what creates depth, elevation, and a complete, powerful backswing.
So it's really a sequencing game. You have to earn the separation.
It is entirely about timing. If separation begins too early, like we discussed with pulling the handle of the door, immediately the takeaway becomes wildly unstable.
Right.
But if separation never occurs, the backswing is rigid. The golden rule, the core objective of the golf swing is connection first, separation second.
Connection first, separation second. I love that.
It's a great mantra.
So now that we understand the anatomy, the flaws, and the timing, let's talk about how you, the listener, can actually train this today.
Yes, let's get practical.
The sources provide a very specific, actionable drill to groove this connected feeling at the driving range.
And this drill is just fantastic for isolating that early structure.
How does it work?
You want to assume your normal golf posture and grab a short iron, like an 8-on-9 iron. Then take a small ball, a soft object, or even just a folded golf towel and place it gently between your upper shoulder blades.
And again, just to reiterate what we said earlier, we are just holding the towel there for proprioceptive awareness.
Right.
No death grips with the shoulder blades. We aren't pinching it as hard as we can.
Right. The object is there just so your brain can feel your shoulder blades.
Okay, so towel's in place. What next?
Once it's in place, you begin the takeaway slowly. You allow the rib cage and the shoulders to turn together. Keep the arms connected to that rotational movement, and just let the hands simply travel with the turning chest.
Okay, but the performance notes are very specific about the stopping point for this drill. They say to stop when the club is approximately parallel to the ground.
Yes, they do.
Why is that? I mean, if I have the towel back there, why wouldn't I just hit full 7 irons out onto the range to really ingrain the feeling?
Well, because if you try to make a full swing while holding an object between your shoulder blades, you are going to violate that golden rule we just talked about.
Connection first, separation second.
Exactly. You need your shoulder blades to separate later in the swing to create elevation and power. If you try to hold a towel there for a full swing, you are forcing permanent connection, and you will develop a terribly restricted, rigid motion.
Ah, so stopping at parallel is essentially a built-in checkpoint.
Yes.
You are basically diagnosing your own swing path in real time before you get to the separation phase.
It isolates the early structure perfectly. Stopping when the club is parallel to the ground allows you to pause and check your work.
What are we looking for?
You can literally look at your hands and ask yourself, have my hands moved excessively outward? Did my right shoulder pull away independently and drop the towel?
Oh, that's great feedback.
Right. Have my chest and shoulders actually turned together? Is the club still organized in front of my chest?
It gives you immediate physical feedback. So for anyone trying this drill, what is the specific prescription? Like how many reps should they be doing before they start hitting real shots?
The recommended protocol is to perform 2 to 3 sets of 8 to 10 slow repetitions.
Okay, 8 to 10 reps.
Yeah, stopping at parallel to check your positions. Once you have grooved to that feeling and your brain recognizes the sequence, you remove the towel.
Amen.
Then you make short swings, actually hitting golf balls at approximately 50% speed, trying to maintain that exact same early connection without the training aid.
Okay, so you are blending the isolated drill back into a fluid athletic motion.
Exactly.
And doing that consistently is going to drastically improve your takeaway sequencing, your scapular control, and ultimately the stability of the club face.
It absolutely will.
Which brings us to the summary and honestly the really exciting payoff of all this hard work. Because getting the takeaway right doesn't just make your swing look pretty on camera for the first 12 inches.
No, it pays off big time later on.
It magically improves the most difficult, chaotic part of the golf swing, right?
Yeah.
The transition from backswing to downswing.
Yeah, this is perhaps the greatest hidden benefit of everything we've discussed today. A well-connected takeaway improves the transition to the downswing tremendously. Think about the physics. When your arms remain organized relative to your torso on the way back, you can change direction with far less compensatory movement.
Meaning you don't have to do that emergency calculus we talked about at the beginning.
Precisely. Your nervous system can relax. Your hands and the handle of the club are already in a highly functional position at the top.
Wow.
Because they aren't disconnected and floating away from your body, your arms can lower properly in the transition without getting trapped dramatically behind you or, being thrown way over the top.
Everything's just lined up.
Exactly. Your ribcage and pelvis can aggressively begin the downswing toward the target, while the shoulder complex remains responsive. It gives the club the best possible opportunity to approach the golf ball from an incredibly efficient, powerful direction.
It all comes back to the domino effect.
It really does.
Good dominoes falling early means good dominoes falling late. Let's summarize the core mantra here, the absolute central principles for you to memorize and take to the course.
Okay, let's hear.
First and foremost, the backswing does not begin with the hands.
It does not begin with an isolated arm pull, and it definitely does not begin with an aggressive yanking of the trail shoulder.
Right. The backswing begins with the coordinated rotation of the rib cage and the shoulder complex. The heavy door swings on its hinges.
Yes.
The shoulders and rib cage move together, the arms remain connected, the hands follow the turning body, and the club begins on a predictable path.
And then, and only then, as the backswing develops, natural separation can occur.
Connection first, separation second.
Absolutely. A better, more organized takeaway creates a better opportunity for a flush strike.
It really is the hidden engine of the whole operation. Which brings us right back to where we started watching golf on television on a Sunday.
Full circle.
Yeah, we are so conditioned by the broadcasts to stare at the club head, looking for that explosive moment of impact, or, watching the hands manipulate the grip.
Because it looks cool on camera.
It does. But we are looking at the glossy paint job, not the engine. So I want to leave you with a final thought, something to mull over and try for yourself.
Okay.
Next time you watch a professional golf tournament, challenge yourself to stop watching the club head during the takeaway. Break the habit.
That's harder than it sounds.
It really is, but try it. Instead, lock your eyes on the player's ribcage and sternum. Watch how the core initiates the movement.
Yeah, watch how the shoulders respond and glide.
Exactly. You might just literally see the hidden engine of their consistency hiding right in plain sight.
I love that. It's such a great way to look at it.
If you found today's episode valuable, please subscribe to our channel. Every subscription helps us continue producing high-quality educational content for golfers and coaches worldwide.
It really does.
If you have a question, topic idea, or golf challenge you would like us to research, test, and explain, please leave a comment, contact us on LinkedIn, or send us an email.
We'd love to hear from you.
Don't forget to explore the eCoach 360-degree Golf Intelligence platform and experience our 48-hour free trial. You can also join our 30-day golf biomechanics, kinematics, ground reaction forces, and club kinematic certification program to deepen your understanding of golf performance.